Here's a bullet point summary of all the teachings in WHO, the A method for hiring. Whatever you're doing is not necessarily your problem. It is who is doing it. It's all about the people. You need to look at all issues as if they are people-driven, because they are. Some common mistakes in hiring include using what is called voodoo hiring methods, meaning unquantifiable, non-exact generalities, and strange other methods for picking out the candidate. Some of these mindsets include being an art critic about it, being a prosecutor about the interview period, being a suitor, being a trickster, being a person who asks strange questions such as, what animal would you be if you were an animal? And using that to judge whether or not the person is a fit for your company, as a strangely popular example. The A method for hiring can be outlined as follows. You need a scorecard, the actual objective of the job, essentially. You need sourcing. You need an actual stream. You need to drill an oil well of people coming in constantly who are A players. This is normally best done by using A players to find A players. Selecting, the process of weeding out the true gold from the pretty good. And selling the job, the process of reeling in the person once you find that the person is absolutely suited to this job. For the scorecard, begin with the end in mind. Put what is called a mission statement on the card. Outcomes and competencies necessary for the job. An example of a scorecard mission statement. This is for the Dean of Students position at a school. Mission. The Dean will ensure the enforcement of the school's discipline policies by being firm, fair, and consistent in administering his or her duties. The Dean will accomplish this by working in a collaborative way with students, families, staff, and the administration. An example of outcomes for this position. General perception on annual survey indicates families are pleased with the level of discipline. Staff and students rate the Dean as highly effective at the year-end survey. Major infractions are minimized by working to prevent major issues. A plan is developed for after-hours building supervision. A new effective program for dealing with cyberbullying issues is implemented. An example of competencies. An example of the competencies surrounding this job that are necessary. The person needs to be collaborative. They need to have interpersonal skills. They need to have a sense of responsibility to rules tempered with judgment. They need to have an understanding of proper discipline philosophy. They need to have commitment to the mission of the school. They need to be forward-thinking, and they need to be willing to take risks. Sourcing. The best methods for sourcing are through, firstly, referrals. A players generally know A players, recruiters, and researchers. Some good referral sources for the example that I just gave would be by asking current A players who are on staff at the school, looking for local colleges and universities, and seeing what they have to offer. Other school principals might have some ideas on where to look. Some middle school teachers may also point you out in a good direction, and trusted friends and family may also point you in the right direction. Selecting. There are 4 interview types, 4 layers of interviews. They are called the screening, the top grading, the focused, and the reference interviews. The screening interview. Here's a basic skeleton of the screening interview. 1. What are your career goals? 2. What do you excel at professionally? 3. What are you not good at or unwilling to do professionally? 4. Who were your previous bosses and how will they rate you on a scale of 1 to 10 when we speak with them? Some keys to success on the screening interview. Half an hour or so max on the phone. Stick to questions and explain the format of the questions. Do with a partner or 2 to listen as well. Note answers on a sheet of paper. Write bosses' names down and ask to spell as they are mentioned. The top grading interview. 1. What were you hired to do, or what did you do in your previous job? 2. What accomplishments are you most proud of? 3. What were the lower points of your past jobs? 4. Who were the people you worked with? 4. Who are the people you worked with? What will they say about you? Bosses and co-workers specifically. 5. Why did you leave that job? Key points to hit. Be successive in terms of all previous jobs. Start in terms of early to most recent employment history. Take 1 to 3 hours depending on employment history. Do with the team present. Be prepared to pause and refocus so the conversation keeps going. Look for push versus pull. Look for a person reaching upwards rather than a person who was shoved out of the previous job. Use the 3 P's to evaluate the person's accomplishments: past, peers, and plan. The reference interview. Find out about the person's performance from bosses, co-workers, subordinates, and this should be arranged by the interviewee in order to avoid problems with law. The interviewee needs to hook you up. Things which are red flags. The person is not willing to help. They only want to give the dates of employment. Use hypothetical questions in this case, and stick to the same questions in the screening interview. The sell. Sell the person on the job. Once you've seen that it's a big fish, you need to reel them in. You sell them on their fit to the job, their family and other people around them who could interfere with them coming and getting the job, the fortune they can make, the freedoms they will have, and the fun they will have. Educate them on collaboration, the learning community, and the opportunity for personal growth that they'll have in the company. Create a sales pitch to the employee.